And very glad to welcome into the studio once more Dr. Dan Clark as we talk about the breast cancer program at IRMC. And wait, you say it's not October. Why are we talking about that now? Well, there's always something new going on in terms of breast cancer and breast cancer research. And IRMC continues to just take step after step after step to become just one of the top, if not the top place in Western Pennsylvania for breast cancer care. Our visit with Dr. Clark, presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. It really is true, Dr. Clark. You guys keep taking another step forward, and you've done it again.
Yeah, and I often say, be careful what you start because it just continues to grow and grow. And we've been very fortunate with the support at Indiana Regional Hospital that we can continue to grow. And our breast program is very vigorous at this point, and what I really wanted to talk about, and it's been in the news a lot and everything, and we haven't really focused on it that much, is high-risk breast cancer screening. It came into the news a couple years ago, about a year and a half ago, when Olivia Munn, the actress, was diagnosed with breast cancer at age 43.
Yeah.
And she had a normal mammogram. And what happened is her primary care doctor calculated her breast cancer risk estimate. There's a thing called the Tyrer-Cuzick breast cancer risk estimate that looks at all the different factors in your own personal risk and comes up with a lifetime risk factor. And if it's over 20% risk, you qualify for additional imaging beyond mammogram. Could be either whole breast ultrasound or breast MRI. And her diagnosis or her breast cancer risk was elevated by that calculation. Her doctor ordered a breast MRI, and they found a cancer that wasn't seen on mammogram.
Wow.
And she went on. It was actually a fairly aggressive form of breast cancer too. And I don't know what her actual number was for her risk factors, but depending on how high the risk factors are, and what other factors there are, it may lead to genetic testing as well. And this kind of came out of our genetics program as well as the NAPBC, the national accreditation that we have. They had a requirement that we have to offer high-risk screening to all women who have a mammogram. And so if you come in for a mammogram at IRMC, you're offered to use a tablet and put your information in there. It talks about, your family history, whether you have biopsies, whether you've been on hormones, your own personal history of cancer and things like that. And it will calculate, number one, if you're a candidate for genetic testing, if you have a higher risk of possibly carrying a BRCA mutation or there's 8 other breast cancer genes. And it also calculates your high risk and whether or not you're in average risk or high risk or not. And then you're offered a referral to our high-risk breast program if that does come up over 20%.
It's a pretty amazing technology, number one. But the whole programmatic idea of it really fascinates me. So the number one question that came to my mind was, well, how common or uncommon is what happened to Miss Munn?
That's not rare. I can't say it's common, but it's not rare that you have a mammogram. Mammogram, especially with increasing density of the breast, loses sensitivity. And as you know, my wife is the breast radiologist, and we've been doing this together for 30 years. And as she describes it, as a breast gets more dense, it's whiter on mammogram. And cancers are white on mammogram typically. There are other findings as well. But as you get whiter breasts on mammogram, it gets more difficult to detect an underlying cancer, even with our new 3D, which is, leaps and bounds over what we used to have.
Yeah.
But then you supplement, if you have very dense breasts, you supplement that with additional screening. And it can be confusing. Women get this letter in the mail now. It's required by all institutions who do mammography who are certified. And of course, we're certified at the American College of Radiology as a breast imaging of excellence. And that's their top imaging certification they give to any breast program. And so you get a letter after your mammogram telling you, basically if it was okay or not, but also telling you your density. And it used to be, D1, D2, D3, D3, or A, B, C, and D. And, you hear this, you have a density B or 2 with scattered fibroglandular density. And you look at that and say, well, does that mean I have dense breasts or what? And actually that's not. That's average density. And so it's confusing. But then, a C or a 3 is heterogeneously dense, and a 4 or a D is extremely dense. And if you have extremely dense breast tissue on mammogram, you don't need any other risk factors. You automatically qualify, and the state passed a law that insurance companies have to pay for it, that you will qualify for additional screening, whether that be, breast MRI is preferred, but if you can't do a breast MRI, we do whole breast ultrasound, which is not as good, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting to me as well that in the past, when you had a I knew I was going to mess that up, dense breast diagnosis, that it often didn't go any further than that.
Right.
Just a shrug of the shoulders and say, you're probably okay, but until something else does show up that indicates a real problem, then we're just going to let you go. But the whole idea of screening is to learn as early as you can in the breast cancer process if breast cancer is present, because that really determines the protocol for fixing it, or that's probably not the word, for treating it.
Right. And potential cure. I always say that women, it's devastating when they come in and they've just been diagnosed with breast cancer. We have all these breast cancer survivor events because women are surviving breast cancer. Some of the worst breast cancers we used to have, we're now seeing fantastic results with. Not everybody, and it's still a horrible disease. It's the number 2 cancer killer in women. Number 1 is lung. But, it's still out there. But we have made such advances. And the key to survival is early detection, and if we catch it early, there are excellent outcomes. And that's the whole idea behind the high-risk breast program. You don't want to put your head in the sand and ignore it, and say, I don't want to know. You do want to know because you'll live and you'll survive, and if we catch things early. But if it's too late, like all cancers, sometimes they're beyond anything we can do.
Are you finding that women are more open to it now, since we hear more and more about breast cancer and about the success in treating breast cancer? Do women still say to themselves, I just don't want to know, so I'm not going to get the screening?
We don't see it near as much anymore. Women are far more educated nowadays. They've taken charge of their own health and everything else, which is a great thing. And women are out there, they're educated, they hear about these things, and everything. And I just want to let everybody know that we have the high-risk breast screening. And if you are in the high-risk breast screening, we see you either, if you're seeing your gynecologist once a year, we see you in a high-risk breast clinic once a year, because you should also have 2 breast exams a year, not one. And, it's unfortunate, but in your primary care office, oftentimes a breast exam's not done anymore. I don't know when that fell off, but, it has. And so we've had to establish a high-risk breast clinic just to get breast exams done, because it's not just imaging as well. It's also having your exam done by an experienced breast professional. And we've hired a PA, Chrissy Kemmerer. Chrissy joined us, it's almost 2 years now. And Dr. Bill Moria and I, the other breast surgeon, have trained her. And now she runs the high-risk breast clinic, and she's excellent at doing breast exams. And so there's just the volume out there. It's grown immensely. It's been a very popular clinic that Dr. Bill Moria and I alone cannot manage it all. And so, but she's fantastic. So the women are far more educated than they used to be.
You have other news regarding Dr. Bill Moria, too.
Big news regarding Dr. Bill Moria. As you know, I brought genetics to this area. And for the past 7 years, I've been the only certified genetic counselor in the area. Now, Dr. Bill Moria went to a program called City of Hope. It's a 6-month program. You're only eligible if you're involved heavily in breast cancer care. And she went through a genetics program. She already was very knowledgeable about it, but didn't have the certification. And now she is certified to do breast cancer or breast genetic counseling as well. And so that helps because, with the genetics program, I have about a 4 or 5 month wait to get in because I'm the only one doing it. And now with Dr. Bill Moria doing that, we've been able to expand drastically with the hiring of our PA to take some of the load off me too, that now it's expanded my own genetics clinic, and Dr. Bill Moria is now also doing a genetics clinic as well. So we've doubled our availability for genetic screening as well.
Yeah. So the program continues to take strides forward, and maybe not strides, but leaps forward, and it just speaks so well to the entire team concept in treating breast cancer, detecting and treating breast cancer at IRMC.
Right. Yeah, and like I say, it's been excellent support, and with Dr. Bill and Moria and I working together, I can't speak highly enough of Dr. Bill and Moria. She's a fantastic breast surgeon. Her knowledge base is outstanding. Her cosmetic results are fantastic. Her patients love her. I think we have an excellent team, and now with the addition of Chrissy Kemmerer, our PA, and also my wife joining, a couple years ago, has greatly expanded our capabilities for women's imaging. Now we have, a dedicated full-time breast radiologist who, in my opinion, is the best in Western PA.
Yeah.
And she's trained other breast radiologists, for many years. And so she's been doing this a long time, and she's very good at what she does. And she's a breast cancer survivor herself, and, she brings that to the table as well. She understands what people are going through as well.
Yeah, it's an amazing program. The breast cancer team at IRMC continues to lead the way. The only thing missing from the formula is getting people in there.
Right.
And so as great the success rate is in getting people to come in, and I know that it's increased in recent years, your waiting list is one indicator of that. There's still more work to be done there. Folks need to get in, and they need to get those screenings done.
Yeah, and we have the walk-in Mondays. So, you don't need a doctor's order. You don't need an appointment. They're probably going to shoot me for advertising this because it's very popular. But you can walk in on any Monday and get your mammogram done. It'd be best to, get it scheduled and things like that. But if you can't, you still can come in on a walk-in Monday and get that mammogram done. That's still, when we talk about all these other supplemental tests, they're all supplemental to mammogram.
Yeah.
Mammogram still is the number one at detecting breast cancer beyond all the other imaging modalities. So you ask, well, can I get an MRI instead of a mammogram, or can I get a whole breast ultrasound instead of mammogram? The answer is no. Mammogram is far better than the other ones at detecting. They're all supplemental to the mammogram.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to get it done. Very good. And walk-in Mondays, you're right. He's Dr. Dan Clark. Like I said, we always wish we had more time with him. It's the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. 8:26 in the morning on your Wednesday. Boomer Sports next, and then Matt is with us from the WCCS Newsroom.